Hello and welcome back to a new part about Rules of Survival, which is finally outlining in detail Act 3. Today is Saturday the 4th of October and I would have loved to start on the 1st of October, but I didn't finish my Act 2B until today. So finally done with that and we can finally enter Act 3. But I think I'm going to split this vlog a little bit more than what I've been doing so far. So I don't know how long it'll take me, but I just want to make a vlog about outlining in detail Act 3 and then I'll do a separate one when I'm starting to write it, just because I feel like at the moment I haven't posted a lot on YouTube and I kind of want to have videos out there a little bit faster. So we finally finished Act 2B today, a couple hours ago, and the last paragraph or so in my Act 2B was my main character Themis realizing that she doesn't need her prognostics from her AI Lovelace and that she can count on people to defy the odds like she has in the past, and therefore she has to go and figure out if Saturn is still alive. Freddy / Dr. Soul was bitten and did not turn, but Saturn did not know that she was immune, so Saturn shot Freddy and Freddy died in Themis's arms. So Themis had her whole all is lost moment, thought everything was fucked, and then Saturn realized that they had killed someone who wasn't going to turn and felt horrible about it, so they left the group and disappeared into the hallways of the planet settlement. So there's an assumption that Saturn probably dies or gets bitten, we don't know. But obviously some people who shouldn't have survived did survive in the past in the previous mission, so Themis finally accepts that data and prognostics and all of that is nothing without the human element and that humans are unpredictable. So she finally gets to her revelation sort of moment where she starts to see the truth and reject the lie, and decides to get up and find Saturn and bring all of themselves back alive onto the ship and back to Earth too. That's the plan, that's the idea. So Act 3 is all going to be the finale scene, so it's all going to be gather the team, you know, high tower surprise, execute new plan, all of these little elements, if you like, save the cat. I like referring to things that are tangible when I'm writing, even if I end up deviating a little bit from them. So I sort of use save the cat as, you know, guidelines, sort of a basic plan that I can base myself off and then deviate if I decide to. So the first thing I need to figure out is how do they actually gather the team? Because essentially we still have the main bad guy of the story, which is our traitor, who is Isabel, and I also need Themis to start realizing that. So I had initially planned that during the finale scenes, she's gonna realize that she has developed feelings for Axel. Therefore, all of her antagonistic feelings towards Isabel cannot be from jealousy about Carson, because she really feels nothing left for Carson. And I think when she realizes this, she's going to understand, okay, so I have a problem with Isabel, but why? Is it just because she's been a little bit of a bitch so far? What could be the reason? And then she figures out that she's seen her before at a competitor's office when she was having an interview there one time, and I think that's where she makes the link that that company in question produces a lot of the tech devices that we have seen the traitor use so far, such as the thing that breaks biolocks and everything. There's a few things in there like trade secret stuff that indicates who Isabel is working for and why she's there, which is obviously to steal the substance for the competitor to Vortex. That's the plan. So yeah, now I need to start doing some thinking. Today is Tuesday, the 21st of October. I'm currently on stream on Steek's channel and I have finished outlining Act 3. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I finally done it. I did a big chunk of it on Marta's stream, which was on Sunday. We hung out on Saturday, went to an exhibition in London, and then on Sunday she was streaming at 2 p.m. and I was like, oh, I could join, and she invited me on the stream, and then I did like a few scenes then, but I still had the final ones to do, and it just launched me. Like, I was finally problem solving. I finally had ideas how to get over some issues I had. Where do the zombies go after everything? Like, there were a few problem moments that I had to think through that blocked me while I was working on that outline. But then working for a longer period of time on the outline and having a proper think about it helped a lot. And I finally felt like I was problem solving by think tanking it. And I wrote up till scene 5 at that point, and now I have a total of 9 scenes for my Act 3. I think it's going to be chunkier than Act 2B for sure. Mostly because I want to round up everything for my 2 main characters, so both for Themis and for Axel, and they do split up at some point in this act. So I almost have like the 5-point finale from Save the Cat beat sheet, which has Hightower surprise and dig deep down and execute new plan and all that. All of those points, I almost double them up because I need them to happen a little bit for both my characters, mostly for Themis. The bigger ones are for Themis, but a little bit for Axel as well. And I've just finished writing what happens in my final image. A lot of the bullet points and things that are going to happen, I did not expect. And it's essentially my characters took over and figured it out for me. That's kind of how I feel, which is really weird. Obviously, it's my subconscious working doubly as hard as my conscious, but still, like for instance, I thought at the end they would get a message from the other ship, and that it would be Carson and Isabel stuck on that ship, and Isabel's finally changing, and you can hear all the noises of her eating him or something, and I was like, oh, very gruesome, very gory, I should do that. And it's like clear that they're both dead. But in the end, Carson surprised me, and when he stuck on the shuttle with Isa, Themis gives him some compelling arguments why Isa is the bad guy and that she works for the competition, and also basically tells him like she has managed to bring some samples with her in that exo case, have a look, and she plans on bringing them back to Earth too. We cannot let that happen. I will shoot you if I have to, even if I don't want to, but we can't let that happen. And he takes the choice, I literally wrote, Carson takes the choice away from her and dives back to the settlement. Through the comms they hear fighting and screaming, then the screeches that are typical of the infected, but it's too late as the shuttle crashes down on the settlement. The team watches as the shuttle sets in motion the domino of explosions set up by Themis. Their own shuttle shakes from it, but they escape unscathed and are on their way to the Carpathia, so the big ship. And then I've got my bullet points for my final image, which, by the way, I did not expect Carson to sacrifice himself as like a character arc, and I kind of feel like that's a good way for him to finish his character arc. Sorry, I knew he was going to die at the very, very end. I just didn't know that it was going to be that way. And I'm happy for him that he got, a hero moment, because that's what he wanted to be the whole time. And then in my final image, I've got a few bullet points, but essentially Themis is going to mark the planet as a danger zone to make sure no one goes near it. She's going to make good on her promise and gather all the goodbye messages from the crews that were sent over the last year from the graveyard of ships, so that she can bring them back to Earth too and expose Vortex. During that time, Saturn decides to go rest and go in their pod early because they're exhausted. Themis and Axel are finally alone. They make plans to hang out later on Earth too, but it's kind of, they don't love each other yet. They're perhaps in love, or in lust at least, and like each other a lot. They're at the very, very early stages of a relationship, and I can't make this into an express highway to marriage. Like, that's just not what this is. This is the kind of romance you have during a high intensity dramatic event, right? Like, this isn't a we've been dating for several months and now we're ready to get married. That's not what this story has as a romance, and I don't like when books pretend that it's like that, or movies, and it's like, we've known each other for a whole of 1 week, but it was so intense that we're gonna get married and we love each other now. It's like, no, they don't yet, but they're finally free to explore that relationship. So that's more what that end will bring. So I've got as a bullet point that they plan to have Themis meet his sisters maybe, and him meet Valaya, or like they joke about it, talk about it. Axel asks Themis where on earth she lives, and they make plans to go on an actual date together. And she also messages Valaya to make plans to hang out as friends. And they're about to go in the pods. That's the very, very final image. They're gonna go back through the gate that allows them to travel at the speed of light, right? And Axel says it was a lot comfier last time with 2 people in. Plus those pods are made to sustain double their weights combined. And she ends up getting in the same pod as him, but this time on purpose and not because her pod has been sabotaged, in a mirror scene with the scene that I initially wrote. And in a very similar ending to all those James Bond movies and sort of The Fifth Element, it ends on them making out in the pod while the countdown chimes in the background. And that's it. The end. And I'm just really, really happy with that plan. I feel good about my outline. I have so many bullet points. I have so much to write and draft for this Act 3. I think it's gonna be chunky, but I feel good about it. I'm really excited to get into it. And it's only the 21st of October, and that leaves me, I think, a few days of rest. I'm not gonna start drafting in October, so probably November and December to draft this, 2 months, which I think is doable. It's manageable. Let's hope. But that's it. That's it for this mini vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you still like this series. If you do, leave a like, leave a comment down below. I always try to respond to those. They make me very happy. Consider subscribing to my channel, ring that bell, all that jazz, and we'll see you guys in the next one.